At nagbabalik po ang frontliners, kasama pa rin natin si Ambassador Bayani Mercado. Mr. Ambassador, punta naman tayo sa ating pakikipag-ugnayan sa pamahalaan ng Norway. Ano po ba ang maituturing na pinakamahalagang aspeto ng ating bilateral relations with Norway?
I would say two. In maritime relations, as I mentioned to you earlier, we have about 25,000 Filipino sailors on board Norwegian vessels. And the Norwegian Ship Owners Association, they even have a training school dyan sa Taguig, Manila, inside the Bikutan compound, where they train on the average 300 Filipino sailors graduate from the training center. And then diretso na yun, from the training center, they board Norwegian vessels. And the training is free, I understand. Second, Norway is the third country facilitator in our peace process with the NDF. They have an ambassador who shuttled between Manila and Utrecht to find a way to have peace with the NDF.
Ambassador Bayani, I'm familiar with that process because we are called. No? I was also part of the process before and up to now on call. Friends of the process, where we help, no? We help try to bridge concerns between the national government and the NDF through the third-party facilitator, of course, which is Norway. And we appreciate Norway's gesture of continuing to support the peace process here in the country.
Yes, nabanggit niya pangalan mo noon ni Ambassador Ture Lund.
Well, hopefully, no, nakastall lang tayo ngayon, pero at least I've been hearing na may konting back channel rin pa rin at nag-uusap yung dalawang panig. And I appreciate is Norway is not giving up on the peace process that was started even before this administration. Nagsimula pa yata ito mula pa nung panahon ni Pangulong Ramos na unti-unting pinag-uusapan nga ito.
Yeah, that's yes.
Mr. Ambassador, saan-saang sektor or industry pa ang pinakamalago ang ating partnership with Norway, maliban po sa maritime?
Well, power generation, yung isang Norwegian company, SN Power, is in partnership with Aboitiz Power. They operate 3 hydropower electric plants in the Philippines at Amboklao and one other I just can't remember. So the Norwegians have good technology in hydropower generation. That's why they are there in the Philippines.
How about in terms of humanitarian aid? Dahil alam natin ang Norwegians talagang we could call a donor country, no? Ilan po ang nakukuha po natin in terms of aid mula sa Norway?
Official development assistance, most of the aid are channeled through the United Nations. I don't have the exact figures. And just to let you know, we no longer fall under the developing country category. Middle income country na tayo, what they call here growth markets. As an example of Norway's generous humanitarian assistance, yung typhoon Yolanda, they were among the first to donate. More than 210 million na donate nila.
In terms po ng tourism, Mr. Ambassador, marami na rin bang Norwegian na nag-apply ng visa para pumunta dito sa ating bansa at vice versa?
Marami-rami na rin. The latest, according to our tourism office in London, is nasa 20,000 na yung Norwegians who visited the Philippines. Ang problema lang natin, wala tayong direct flights. Preference kasi ito ng mga Scandinavians, yung direct flights like Thailand. Thai Air has direct flights to Oslo from Bangkok, also Copenhagen, Sweden. So according to the Thai ambassador here, more than 150,000 Norwegians go to Bangkok annually. So ang sales pitch ko rin sa mga Norwegians, Manila is only 3 hours away from Bangkok.
Mr. Ambassador, so binanggit nga ninyo yung mga numbers natin dyan sa Norway. Yan ay documented, no? Meron ba rin mga tinatawag po nating TNT na undocumented Filipinos who are staying also in Norway na namomonitor rin po ninyo?
Kung meron man, kaunti lang at siguro overstaying. Kasi dito, all legal residents of Norway are issued identification number. Without that ID number, you cannot go to a hospital, to a bank, or anywhere. It's the most important thing for a legal resident of Norway or anywhere in Scandinavia. So kung wala ka ng number na yon, paano ka makapagtrabaho? Ang andito most of the transactions are bank to bank. Kung nabalitaan dito, na Pilipino, i-deport dahil TNT. Sa Denmark, there was one. He was overstaying for 10 years. But nagkasakit, so he had no choice but to go to a hospital. Doon nalaman, he's not legal dahil wala nga siyang identification number.
Paano po kayo nakikipag-ugnayan po sa ating Filipino community dyan? Meron ba silang Filipino Association na tinatayo o maraming mga Filipino Association dyan? At paano ninyo, how do you keep in contact with them?
Well, maraming Filipino community organizations. Alam mo naman yung mga Pilipino, they are very sociable. Now, dahil sa laki ng jurisdiction ko, we communicate with them through email, Facebook, our official webpage. And wherever I go, I never fail to tell them that always check our Facebook page or our official webpage for announcements. And I always ask them to register.
Mahirap ba mag-settle dyan sa Norway? If a Filipino would want to apply for residency dyan, will it be a culture shock for him or madaling mag-settle dyan, madaling makahanap ng trabaho at iba pa?
Okay, kung to settle with the intention of finding work, medyo mahirap dahil dito ang basic requirement, the number one requirement is Norwegian language proficiency. So kung bagong dating ka lang, how can you be proficient in language? After you have all language proficiency aspect, madali na maghanap ng trabaho.
Hindi ba ho nagkakaroon naman ng racial discrimination po sa mga Pilipinong naninirahan po dyan?
Wala pa ako narinig na racial discrimination against Filipinos. In fact, there was one mayor in Northern Norway I visited. Sabi niya sa akin, he is so pleased with the Filipino community because they have integrated themselves so well with Norwegian society. So much so that every event meron ng kanyang city hall, they always invite the Filipinos because our community have this colorful native dances and it spice up the occasion.
Okay, let's pause for a while. Frontliners will be right back.